Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is bring about conversations of a psychological, mental health, emotional health paradigm. We do that as often as we can, usually several times per week. We try to anyway. This week has been a little chaotic, and probably, I imagine, at least through mid-April, I'm going to be a little bit of chaos in that way too. But if you have the time and interest, we've got over 1,300 of these audios available for your listening pleasure, and ultimately we can make something happen good there. If you're looking to kind of break toxic behaviors, would love to be of assistance to you in that way. Would love to connect with you if we can do that. What are some signs that you may be a toxic person? That's the topic of today's uh, audio. But if you are looking for coaching in these areas, please feel free to reach out at PO Perception on Twitter and or in the About Me section of this YouTube page. Either one will get you in touch with me or a member of my team. We can go from there to make something good happen for your listening pleasure. So, in any event, the first is you overpromise. Overpromising is one of the most toxic things a person can do, because if a person is taking you at face value with the promise you're making and then you break it, ultimately what you're saying to them is that your word isn't good. It's also saying that their sacrifices or the things they're counting on and the way you're going to change their life if you don't keep your word is irrelevant. And so that becomes problematic, because when you aren't a person of your word, it's proven ultimately at the end of the day that you are continuing to struggle in a way of some level of honesty. And so overpromising is one of those things you really want to avoid. And when we overpromise, we also overvalue our own input, and that can be problematic for a number of reasons as well. So, kind of keeping that in mind is important. The next is using pity to get what we want, or being petty at the same time. So pettiness can be a problem for a number of reasons, not limited to the fact that ultimately small things add up over time. If you're reacting to small things every time, then your relationship will eventually erode. And also, using pity to get control of a person is eventually not going to be something that will pay off for your benefit. Understanding how to connect in a deeper way is an important way of kind of connecting and ultimately coming to a place where you begin to understand the value of how to be less petty, how to connect with an honest and forthright and correct and direct way of being can be one of the most important things that you can do. I got to grab my phone, so we'll be back in two shakes of a lamb's tail, and we will finish this out. In any event, it is a really, important thing to continue to understand the value of connecting with people on the basis of integrity, honesty, sincerity, and, overall reality of value. And that can become one of the most important things to do. Defensiveness and sensitivity is another factor that can cause a lot of problems in personal relationships. When we're defensive, it's because we believe that our opinion or our value is more important than that of others, and ultimately that becomes problematic, because the ranking of one person as more important than another person can be one of the things that we continue to focus on. Constantly being negative or pessimistic can also create problems. Obviously, we've got to be realistic. We've got to live through a realistic mindset. However, realism and pessimism often can blend with each other, because if a person is only focused on the negativity in the world, they're going to get what they focus on. If a person is focused on the positivity in the world, again, they're going to get what they focus on. Finding a level of neutrality is one of the most valuable things a person can do, so that they can begin to, connect with a long-term effect that's going to give them the life they want, and that becomes useful and beneficial in a long-term manner. So hopefully this is helpful, and in general, making things go in a positive direction is something that all of us can do in one way or another. Hopefully, this is helpful. I encourage you to keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.